Warning, the following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
Whoa, you ain't lying. You shortened it up.
No, I didn't shorten it up. I need to fix that. I don't know why we're playing the long version of the show intro, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Welcome to the Coach's Box.
The short show version. I mean, look, you got two people. I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, you know what? This is all that's left of the originals.
The OGs.
The OGs are in the house. It's not these other guys. It's the guys who were there from the very beginning, sitting in the same place that you're sitting right now, Jason.
I know.
That's hey, and you know what? It's all good. And the other guys, everybody's got stuff going on. I think we were busy today too. We found some time though, to do the show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get my dang YouTube updated so I can watch the rest of the tournament here at home. And a lot of basketball going on. We got the junior high tournament going on at our junior high right now, and hopefully our 8th grade puts on a good show over there, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, that's right. You guys are hosting it. I forgot all about it.
Yeah, we're the hostess with the mostest.
Hey, I mean, could be worse, right? Could be traveling down to Perryville to play a game.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah,
I did that. Not too long ago. I mean,
I've never done that.
I got a win. That was nice.
Yeah, it's hard to win in Perry County. I don't care who you are.
Unless you're Valroy.
That's true. He's a pretty good winning percentage down there. But yeah, we had the first round games of the Bruce Thomas tournament there at Herculaneum in a jam-packed, shortened week because of the lovely weather.
Crazy tournament. It's gonna be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, man.
And we obviously with the weather that we had here on Monday making it difficult. And I know we've said before that you probably could have played the games because of the conditions had gotten better by the afternoon, but you never want to make that decision and it go the wrong way where somebody gets hurt traveling to from the game. So we didn't get to play the games on Monday. Go ahead.
And you add some teams like Pacific and Sullivan who really have to travel a long ways for the game. And so, conditions can change very rapidly and quick. And, most of the schools are pretty quick to pull the trigger on not going to school if it can harm someone. And so probably a good choice and good opening night so far there. And right now I know when I left that Northwest was up pretty big on Hancock. So that was the game that I'd left. I'll tell you what, Chris, in your game there for a little bit, I thought, we may have to play each other this weekend next. I was like, come on.
Yeah,
I don't root for you very often, but tonight I was.
Well, I mean, given all the fun with the weather, it had been 18 days since we had played a single game. And tonight it looked like it had been 18 days since we've played a game. It was funny. I believe someone that might have been related to me said, maybe you ought to make some free throws. And I said, it's really funny. I think we practiced a lot of free throw shooting over this time because I knew for a fact that we were going to have need our legs and get those opportunities. And when you haven't been in a game like that, man, I'll tell you what, it looked like it. We missed some bunnies. We didn't hit free throws, and Bayless, credit to them. I mean, they made it quite a game. We just happened to make enough plays to win. So I was happy with it, all things considered. We'll take
both
the ugly
teams
wins.
in the last 45 seconds went 2 of 10 from the free throw line. Both teams combined.
Yeah.
And I was like, because I thought, Flanagan's got 2. He's going to put them up 4, and he missed both. And I even said to the ref, I said, because the Bayless coach was like, foul, foul. Oh, not him. And I said, yeah, I wouldn't have wanted. The ref was right in front of us, and we were talking. Slick Rick was doing the game, and kudos to him. He's retiring. That big news just came out, and so we were talking back and forth as I was watching the game, and I said, "Oh yeah, they shouldn't have fouled him. He'll probably sink both of these, and unless I jinx him." And I guess it was Clancy actually, and Clancy looked at me after he shot the first one and goes, "Well," and then I go, he's got this one. Clank. I'm like, oh, crap. But, Bayless gave you a game. I mean, we played them in the first game of the year and lost by 8, I believe, or something like that because number 11 went off for a lot of points.
Good player.
Good player, man. He can make plays off the dribble. He can shoot from outside decent.
Oh, gosh.
He can take the ball to a hole. He's a complete package.
And what I like about him, just watching him on film, he kind of makes everybody a little bit better too. I mean,
he made some passes tonight to some kids. Sometimes they're not ready for him.
Oh no,
he's real slick, and he's deceptively fast. Like he doesn't look like he's going fast, and then all of a sudden, boom, and he's just real smooth with the ball.
That's a good way to put it.
Just a smooth kid, and then they got that number 11 can shoot it okay from the corners. He likes that corner 3, and they gave you a tough run for your money. But either way, we were going to have to play someone twice because we've already played Bayless once. So get to play him again. Maybe my kids will be up for it. We'll see. Revenge game. So we'll see what happens.
It's hard to play you guys at home. So we would have had to do whatever we had to do as far as the game was concerned. But if I had to look forward, I was like, man, I don't know. I don't want to play Jason at his house. It doesn't matter. You can throw all the records out the window, man. It's a tough thing to do is play the Black Cats at home.
Sometimes
especially in this game.
And we like to play Pius, and Pius likes to play us, and it's always a fun filled game and between me and you, and we're good friends. And then I know a lot of your kids, and your kids know a lot of my kids, and it always makes for a good game. I thought Patrick did some good things for you guys tonight, and it was good to see Whitman out there. I never want a kid to be hurt, and I'm glad he's getting back for you. I'm hoping we get Moreland back either maybe a best case scenario tomorrow, but either tomorrow, Friday, and if not, then he'll be back by the time we play on Wednesday.
I was really happy progress. To be honest with you, who got right off the bat was you just got to do it. We hadn't had him for a whole month, and probably a week and a half ago, he was out of the boot, and he's been doing his PT, and he's doing everything he's supposed to do. And we got the word that he could practice, and he practiced yesterday. And I told him, I said, well, we're going to limit, we'll monitor things. And I'm asking him all the time how he's doing. Of course, he's going to tell me he's fine. And then he asked me today, he goes, Coach, you think I can play? And I go, well, we'll see how it goes. I'm glad we had him because he's a good player for us, and hopefully we can get him back to 100%. it's tough, especially not having any rest time in between. But that's just part of the way what you got to do when you got all these snow days and
Well,
makeup
and
days.
we couldn't reschedule on a Tuesday because there's so many boys basketball games on Tuesday nights, so we couldn't get the referees. I don't know if you saw, but I think you saw
Yeah.
Fitzwater. You shared that post in our
Yeah.
group chat, and he coached he refed. Is it Paul? Paul Fitzwater?
Paul Fitzwater.
Yeah, he refed 4 high school games yesterday just so that teams could play.
Yeah, they scheduled the varsity games. They had 4 varsity games at Harrisburg. So you had that way they could get the games played because they can't find referees because of the referee shortage. It's just crazy.
And you know, we had it was really good to see Rick. He's retiring, Rick Bowen, and those of you that didn't know, and got a good hug from Rick. And that was interesting, you know, just getting to Rick's one of the classy guys, one of the best refs around, and we're gonna miss him next year, man. But
oh yeah,
you know, that's the issue. We need some more young guys like there's a couple, Jeremy Eisman, I think, and a couple other young guys out there, but we need more. That's why I always share those posts Misha puts out there for refs because we need them. Yeah, your game was a little more fun than mine. I ran into a buzzsaw, man. Windsor's good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They can play. I mean, you know, I know they played with Park Hills and almost beat them, and they beat Hillsboro, I think, twice. They split with Festus. They're good, and they showed that tonight, and I think they'll. I mean, I think they're going to win the tournament. I mean, they're the best team there.
Hey, do you have a chance? I see how it is. Yeah,
I'm not saying anything bad to any other teams that are in our tournament. I'm just saying Windsor's got 5 kids, man, that can freaking flat out play.
They do have some talent, and a couple of those guys, boy, I'll tell you what, they look like grown men. I told my freshman coach, I said that kid looks more like a man than you do. Like he drove the bus and got him there. They got to play, so it's going to be practice to get ready, game plans in. We just got to say okay, and you know, kind of. It should be hopefully be a fun game, and you know how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't slighting you guys. You guys will probably give them a
know.
game tomorrow, but I just think overall they're pretty solid.
Yeah. Well, and we'll go ahead and jump away from the local sports here and kind of go with our headlining topic of discussion from last weekend. We had some National Football League playoff games, and you know they were a lot better than the opening round wild card games. Divisional series, I thought for the most part, was especially the Bills Chiefs game. I mean, wow! If I how times is Buffalo lose to Patrick Mahomes or lose in the playoffs in a situation where they've got to do. I, I felt bad for their kicks because as soon as he kicked, you know, and I
As soon as you thought it,
I'm thinking it. Oh my gosh, this just happened. I mean, again, the top did history of the Bills cursed? Are they?
I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I thought was Scott Norwood when I saw them getting ready to line up for the kick. And one of my dear friends that used to live next door to me is one of the biggest Bills fans ever, and she was the first person I thought of when they missed that kick. I was like, "Oh man, that's rough."
And that,
that is rough.
Because you got all all you have to do is kick the ball. I mean, it's your only job is kick. Put point. And you can say about the hold, you can say about anything you want, laces out, Dan, whatever you want to say. But my gosh, I mean, the Bills might be cursed. They might. By the way, if an internet connection issues, I apologize. It's I don't know. It's Spectrum. I mean, we're not in Festus. It's not like we have the Kevin Halley internet special package here that but if I shop, I apologize. We really can't restart the show mid, but no, it does enough to most impressive season. But they did get things when it mattered.
Yeah, they did. And it's like when you're on top, sometimes when you're on top, you just have things go your way. I will say that Travis Kelce's brother's celebration of his touchdown was very entertaining. And all these people are crying about the Swifties and the Swift. I think it's great. Yeah, it is what it is. Why not?
Well, I mean, if I guess if some big time musician or superstar wants to come watch you play, and they're famous and you're somewhat, I guess, noticeable, go for it. So
yeah, I mean,
it is what it is. I think I think this matchup this week on both sides is I think there's a lot of really good storylines. I mean, the Chiefs are trying to get back to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson's trying to lead the Ravens to his, to their first Super Bowl with him and their first appearance since 2012. I got thinking about it. I remember that Super Bowl. It was the one when the lights went out. With
yeah.
Hardball ball. I was like, oh my gosh, that was that long ago. I mean, I had to think about it for a second. I'm like, gosh, I was still working at Couch whenever that Super Bowl. That's how long ago it's been since the Ravens made the Super Bowl. Yeah. So that there's some good storylines there. On the AFC side, the NFC side. I'm telling you right now, if you're not from San Francisco or some kind of carryover Niners fan from the 80s and 90s, you're probably rooting for Detroit. I mean, I know I am, and I like the 49ers. I liked them growing up. But my God, I want Dan Campbell to take the Lions, get the Lions to Super Bowl. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Lions play whoever. I don't even care. I want to see the Lions in the Super Bowl.
I'm not like a Niners fan, so I'm kind of rooting for Detroit too. I'm kind of been a Chiefs fan, but it's hard because I was such a diehard Rams fan, and their owner didn't help keep the Rams in St. Louis, so it's hard for me to root for the old Chiefs. But I like Kelce. I think their quarterback's one of the most fun players to watch in football, and their running back Pacquiao or whatever, man. Can he run the football? He just runs with an evil, mean, he can get after it. Like it.
Well, I'll tell you what. And I haven't heard if Deebo Samuel's going to play because I know he left that game. That's going to be a big part of the game. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to give the Packers a lot of credit because I watched that game and they were there until the very end. Unfortunately, it was the Kyle Shanahan, which coach is going to Kyle Shanahan coaching tree of who's going to choke in the fourth quarter with their play calling and decision making. And Kyle Shanahan did not, but his protege, what's his face, very play calling decisions that were made in that that allowed the Niners to win the game. Because I'll tell you what, I thought for sure the Packers were going to win. Just watching the game, I think they pretty much won every facet of the game except the score. And
I agree.
Matt LaFleur, that's his name.
They got a good young quarterback, and I agree. They're fun to. The Packers were fun to watch this year and see how they progressed.
I think they got. I think their defense was a little underrated, and they made it really difficult for Purdy to do anything all night. I mean, you might have saw a couple big plays here and there, but the couple that they allowed was the ones that really cost them in the end. But it wasn't like they were just dominated. I mean, they got stop after stop. I mean, you talk about the end of the first half. Here, the ball blocked the kick. Blocked the getting out the very first play, on defense against the 49ers coming out at halftime. So, I mean, they did everything that they needed to do but win the game. I mean, and that's got to show that there's some big upside for Green Bay, and especially how well Jordan Love played the rest of the year. But I also think it exposed some holes with San Francisco, especially on defense. And
that I think can be exploited here later on. Maybe Detroit does it, or maybe it happens in the Super Bowl with Lamar or the Chiefs. I'm anxious to see what Lamar does against the Chiefs. They're at Baltimore. I mean, I think that gives them a little bit of an advantage.
I think so.
I think Lamar is a very fun talent to watch. So, got two quarterbacks that are going to be battling it out, which is going to be fun. And I hope I hope this weekend is as fun, if not more fun, than last weekend.
Oh, I agree. I will say this: I'm really anxious to see how Lamar Jackson did in the playoffs this year, because he's had such a poor showing in the playoffs his whole career, and he had a very, very, very good game last weekend. And I mean, I was pulling for the Texans. I like what Ryans has done there as a coach, and I was rooting for an Ohio State quarterback for the first time in my entire life. There you go, Jim Powers. Gave a little love to your Buckeyes, but only one of them. That was it. Not that stupid vest-wearing Tressel flake that they had coaching, and Maurice Claret or whatever his name was too, that big cheater. But anyway, I thought the Texans had a good season. Obviously, they couldn't get over the hump, and Baltimore, man, I'll tell you, I think whoever wins in the AFC, so if it's the Bills out, or excuse me, Bills, if it's coming out, I think whoever comes have a better chance against Kansas City out of Kelsey that Patrick Mahomes can throw the ball to, that can catch it. I mean, none of those other guys, none of them been sick all year because they can't catch the cold, can't catch a ball. I mean, it's been terrible. There's so many drops, but I think, man, Baltimore is primed to win it. They really are.
I do too, and maybe the Chiefs, though, have some magic. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. That's just stupid.
No. They've got some good vibes going with them all year, and Jason Kelsey goes to all their games from here on out. Never know. I'll tell you, that's a fun podcast if you haven't watched any of that.
I have. Those guys are great.
Oh man, Jason's wife cracked me up on there. But yeah, that's a good podcast to watch.
If you haven't, I believe it's on Prime. I think it's called Kelsey. It's actually a documentary, and it covers more of Jason Kelsey than it does Travis. But he's on there. They talk about coming up, and playing and the podcast and, just dealing with that. And Jason Kelsey's wife is hilarious. She's a hoot. But it's a very good documentary, all things considered. I was kind of surprised. You think you see a documentary when someone's done playing, and they're not playing, but he played another season, and this was his last. It looks like he's ready to party, though. My gosh, I've seen so many memes on the internet of him without a shirt. I mean, good gosh.
I don't know that he's officially ever really said he's retiring.
No, he told everybody he's retiring.
I'm telling you.
Oh, you think he's going to go to Kansas City?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he ain't going to do that.
I can tell you, I would if I had a chance to play with my brother. I would definitely go to Kansas City and play. If I'm him.
If I play, I'd try to play good because I'd take the and you get my butt. I think having a guy like that in your locker room would definitely help. But hey, do you think? And you've watched a lot of football, probably more than me, Jason. Do you think that Jason Kelsey is a Hall of Famer?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, as many Pro Bowls as he's been to as a center. Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
I think he's definitely borderline. I think for him, I think him getting in, he probably isn't going to be some kind of first ballot guy. I do think there's been a lot of really good centers that have come through that will probably get in ahead of him or, bump him down the list. But as far as longevity, as far as being solid, yeah, I definitely see him. I think it's a no-brainer that his brother's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, yes.
But it's kind of one of those wait and see kind of things with him. For our next segment, because when we come back, we're going to be discussing not the Pro Football Hall, which actually does things a lot better than the Baseball Hall of Fame, which we are going to talk about when we come back. Our next segment. You're watching the Coach's Box. We'll be right back.
I'm a parking gate and I'm all out of whack.
Please insert your parking ticket.
It's gonna take a lot more than a little ticket to get out of here. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. No! So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Someone!
That's broken too, pal.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Case and Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks, yum. Harold's Market, thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
right, everybody. Welcome back to our second segment of the Coach's Box. If you like our show, if you don't like our show, we always say it doesn't matter. We like for you to come on. You can make fun of us. You can comment. You can join in on the conversation. I know we didn't really advertise this show because we weren't really sure we'd have the guys here. Obviously, it's just us, the OGs, me and Jason. We can go to work all day. We can coach basketball games, and then we come here and we have a podcast with you guys. So if you do like it, you want to hang out with us, you want to watch some of our old shows, you can go back and watch us on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and see some of our old shows, or you can go on YouTube and subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do. See all of our videos there. They are all there for you. They all cost absolutely $0 freaking dollars. So you can go and see those shows and kind of see what we've been doing for the last 175 episodes. It's incredible that we've been on this long, that we haven't been kicked off the air. The FCC has not bothered us. They've let us be. And we are coming up on our, hang on, I'm doing the math in my head. What has it been? 4 years. 4 years of doing this show. It's hard to believe that that's the case, but anyway, here we are.
Yes.
Jason is in deep concentration right now.
Because our video is not showing the tournament right now, and I'm trying to fix it.
Got technical call Kevin. He's the IT guy.
Well, I'm afraid it's not taping the game right now, so
that's not good. Well, anyway, we'll while you're trying to figure that out, we're going to move on into our second segment of the show. We were asking about the Kelsey brothers being Hall of Famers, yes or no. We obviously both think that Travis is for sure and Jason should be, but you never know how people vote. And in another sport, in the world of baseball, the Hall of Fame class of 2024 was announced with its newest members. And the Baseball Hall of Fame is arguably one of the most controversial. I can't even put the words to it, probably, to give it justice, and then on top of it, the humiliation it really deserves. It's an absolute sham on how these people vote, and it's the Baseball Writers of America. They are a joke amongst themselves, a bunch of pompous, self-righteous, absolute assholes who never get it right because they all think one certain way, or they hold players to a standard that's insane, and they are never consistent. But without we'll get to our rants and our feelings on things here. But the Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2024, 3 players were elected. They received enough votes, which is 75%, to join the Hall. Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, Todd Helton, and even Jim Leland, who was also elected as well. So 4 people going to the Hall, three former players, 1 manager. Billy Wagner, longtime lefty reliever, 4th, I believe, all time in strikeouts by a reliever, and had a bunch of saves. Great player, very dominant. Did not make it. Among other people like Gary Sheffield, who was his last year on the ballot, received, I think, 67% or something along those lines for the Hall. So he won't be able to make the Hall of Fame. Jason, what's your thoughts on this year's class, as well as the illustrious?
Well, the Baseball Hall of Fame, without some of the people that need to be in there, like Pete Rose, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire. I mean, I could go down the list. Okay, they may have roided. Get it. But they should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt in my mind.
I'm very torn about Pete Rose. And
I'm not.
Listen, his career is it's easy to say that he did nothing that was going to enhance his performance on the baseball field. Whatever he did, whatever stats he accumulated, whatever out there was all tears for the game. And there's a reason he was nicknamed Charlie Hustle. Like, when you're coaching baseball, you want your kids to play with that kind of reckless abandon. And I wholeheartedly believe that based on just that, he should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, then there's the other part of it, which obviously betting on baseball, and we can go into a long debate about it. The fact that, and I always had this argument with my dad because he loved Pete Rose, but growing up, it was you can't bet on the game, and I think that because he admitted to it and he signed the papers saying that he would take the lifetime ban, I think for as long as Pete Rose walks the face of the earth and has breath in his body, he should not be in the Hall of Fame because of that. When he dies, I think the very first thing is in. I think the man should be remembered for what he did on the field. And I think that way, the lifetime ban, not the lifetime of the game of baseball, but the lifetime of Pete Rose, his lifetime ban was upheld, and he signed the papers. He said he did it, whatever, and that's when it ends. I think after that point, I think posthumously he should be put in the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's my thoughts on Pete Rose. I've unless I have a different, I don't know, way of thinking, I think that's kind of my final thoughts on it because I've been back and forth. I think obviously his career, his stats, his accomplishments, he's won world championships, he's played in the World Series. He's the all-time hits leader, and I don't think anybody will ever break that record because nobody gets hits anymore. I just, that's what I think. You might think different. I mean, I don't understand that, and I respect everybody's opinion. I just think that based on that, that's why he shouldn't be in right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I see your arguments. I don't know. I'm more mad. Oh, let's take Pete Rose out of it, but I think your Royd guys. I mean,
Yes.
McGuire and Sosa saved baseball, and we're not including them in this Hall of Fame. This ain't and I don't know, is it archaic the way that not the Cardinals, but how the baseball Hall of Fame does it?
Yes. Yeah, I think it is. I don't think that they, I mean, okay. You've got a bunch of dudes who vote. I'll use Billy Wagner missed it by 5 votes. Okay, I was listening to it this morning. He missed it by 5 votes. I think it could be wrong, and if I am, I will stand corrected. But a couple guys didn't even. I don't even know if they even sent in their ballots. One guy only marked 2 people, and someone who had voted for him last year, or 2 people didn't vote for him last year, didn't vote for him this year. So I think like Dan McLaughlin said it right. He's like, you're either good enough to be in the Hall of Fame or you're not. And I know that everybody says that, and I even said it, the first ballot Hall of Famer kind of thing. Like, okay, when this guy is eligible, he should be in. Like next year, Ichiro Suzuki is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think any.
Doubt.
I don't think any. Now, here's the problem. Like, there's I believe, only been one unanimous Hall of Famer, maybe 1 or 2, definitely one in the most modern era, and that was Mariano Rivera. But Jeter, who championships, he's got hits, he has batting average, he's got gold gloves, he's done everything that you have to do in your career, longevity, everything. And one guy from Boston didn't want to vote for him, so that way he wasn't unanimous. That's how petty, how absolute petty that these people are who run the Hall of Fame. And I think the whole thing they should just hit a reset and reboot it like one of these superhero franchises. Be like, done with it. Okay, we're going to do something different because this has run its course. I agree. I think it's archaic.
I think they need to revise it. I think the way that football does it is better.
Yeah,
it's just better. And we're talking about a museum of the sport. Basically, we're not. Yes. It's not like how do you can't leave these type of people out.
No, as someone put it, how do you tell the story of baseball without Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Alex Rodriguez, Andy Pettitte, Gary Sheffield, Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Rafael Palmeiro? How do you tell the story of baseball without guys who have accomplished what they did? And here's a fun fact. How is Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame as the commissioner of baseball? If all these guys that I just mentioned are not allowed to be in the Hall of Fame because they use performance-enhancing drugs, and baseball had the opportunity to use the home run chase of 1998 between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, which was later deemed, everybody, all those guys are doing steroids. Okay. But it was allowed because it was making money, and it brought baseball back from the dead. I mean, it was dead. After the strike, it was dead. 4 years, it was awful. They revived the game of baseball, and they did it with performance-enhancing drugs, and Bud Selig and everybody had to know that it was happening, and they didn't say a word. So they hoard out those two guys and anybody else who helped make them money, and then they put Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame. For what? What did he do that was so great for the game? The All-Star game ended in a freaking tie one year, and you allowed steroids to happen in baseball. Ooh, steroids. Ooh, so bad. I'll use Zach. Ooh.
Say, my gosh, a Zach McVey exciting here.
Well, I mean, he's right about that. Because look at what the game was. It was fun. Chicks dig the long ball. And again, how is Bud Selig in the Hall of Fame? He allowed this to happen. Oh, it's okay though, because it made us money. So you're good, but everybody else, no, we can't put you guys in there. I can maybe see the Alex Rodriguez, but a Manny Ramirez should be in the Hall of Fame. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame. They were good. At what point? Okay, who did amphetamines back before it was really like it. Well, you guys shouldn't do that. I mean, Gaylord Perry would cheat when he pitched. He'd rub snot on the ball, and he'd spitball guy. And any kind of other substance that he could do to pitch. That's why he pitched for so long. I mean, the character in Major League that, oh gosh, I can't even think. The guy who gets hit by the bat because he stole Joe Boo's rum. He was basically made. The character was made after Gaylord Perry. So, I mean, that's the kind of guys that did those things. But that's okay. That's okay because there weren't steroids. You're always pushing the limit. You're always pushing the limit as an athlete, and they weren't a banned substance. And when they were, a guy like Alex Rodriguez, Manny Ramirez, they're the only two guys who served a suspension for doing performance-enhancing drugs. They're the only ones, but the rest of them didn't. I don't see where this is okay, but that's not okay. This is okay, but that's not okay. It wasn't against the rules, but you shouldn't have done it. And Bud Selig, you were the guy who was the architect, and you ran the show. The lack of institutional control that, all these college coaches lose their jobs or their scholarships and put on probation. Bud Selig, you know what? Lack institutional control. You're in the Hall of Fame. Hypocrites. Every damn one of them, hypocrites. It's asinine. It still pisses me off.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole deal. I mean, and I don't know how you fix it.
You do away with it, and you start over.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, let's put it like this: the Baseball Writers Hall of Fame is probably not something that baseball writers they might have to pay dues to, but whatever museum they're putting this stuff in, who runs that? Who runs it? I mean, that's a good question, right? I don't know. I should probably have Googled that. But I'll just say whoever's in charge of that, say, yeah, we're going to go in a different direction. We're going to use your voting system anymore. I'm sure there's some other, some better ways to do it. I like what football does. You have to get in the room and make an argument. They get these guys together. They got former players. They get them together and they argue about this. They meet.
Well, yeah, and they get up. I mean, like, who's the guy on 101 in St. Louis? Randy Carrickers went and spoke for Rams players of St. Louis.
St. Louis. That's right.
That's right. I made sure.
Don't get
St.
twisted
Louis.
now.
There is a president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. His name is Josh Rawitch.
Well, okay.
Rawitch,
that guy.
Rawitch. He is the president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Well, now, I don't know who it's ran by. I mean, it just has a bunch of people listed and
some
directors. Cooperstown. I mean, info. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who.
Either way, I mean, they've got to do something about this because these guys, okay.
It's operated by private interest. The baseball MLB, I guess, does not own it.
Well, listen, you can't tell me the baseball writers have a bunch of money that's backing this. Like it's like, well, we're going to do it, but they run it because they're the contributors. No, they're not. Journalism's a dying breed anyway of a career. Nobody goes into journalism anymore. These guys ain't running this thing. You're right. Privately owned, that makes more sense. There's no way that they're I mean, come on. Somebody's got to say, hey, this is enough. This is a joke. Because it is. The whole thing's a joke.
I mean, you got Beltre, Helton, Maurer. I mean, Beltre's one of those. I guess there's never been any questions about him using steroids.
I don't guess so. I mean, he
not. I mean, he was a big power hitter, and I don't know.
I do think, and I've heard people say about, Beltre was, on the fence, and Maurer and Helton. I mean, they were just good players. What I liked about all these guys, really, to be honest with you, okay, first of all, Adrian Beltre could play some defense. All right. He was a damn good third baseman. Damn good. And and hey, Todd Helton was no slouch either. I think he had 3 Gold Gloves, and the dude hit for like a 10-year stretch, had an insane bag. I know the one year, the year that he finished 5th in MVP voting, that tells you how stacked things were. I believe it was in 2000. He hit 372. He hit 372. Jason, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that. But who was he playing? Playing in the National League, and that was the year that Jeff Kent won the MVP, and Barry Bonds finished 2nd. Then you had Piazza and Edmonds, and then Todd Helton. I mean, he hit 372. It's unreal. And led the league in RBIs, hits, on base percentage, OPS, and my favorite stat ever, WAR. He was 8.9 WAR. It's unreal. But everybody says, well, you played at Coors Field, so you should be able to hit. Pish posh, man. Come on. Come on. Maurer was a very good catcher. And I think all three of these guys are deserving to be in. I mean, I really do. And Maurer didn't play forever, but guy had 2,000 hits. He won an MVP. He's a Gold Glover. Man, I'll tell you what, all these guys could flat out hit. All of them, even Beltre could flat out hit. And man, I'll tell you what. And by the way, Beltre had 3,000 hits too. For anybody who said he wasn't deserving, shut up.
Beltre, I don't see how you could argue against that dude. There's no, yeah. I mean, he was.
I didn't vote.
I still. The Jeter thing, that reporter needs to be just punched.
Yeah. No, I agree.
How do you not? How has he not? He has. I mean, dude, he's unanimous. That he got ripped.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I'll tell you what, though, Billy Wagner to me the Billy Wagner finished 73.8% of the votes that he needed. 73.8. He was 1.2% away from being in. How stupid is that? I mean, you again, I like you either are or you're not. I mean, and again, the guy was unhittable. I mean, great closer. If we were saying like, well, he's just a relief pitcher, then he was one of the best relief pitchers. So you put him in the game, he's going to lock down. He's going to get a save. I mean, 422 saves over 15 years. Good.
I would say that's pretty good.
And then you have Andrew Jones, who had 61.6% of the votes. Andrew Jones, to me, is a guy that should be in just because he could do everything. Okay? The guy could hit. He could hit for power. And he's one of the best center fielders of all time. He had, I think, 10 straight years of winning the Gold Glove. 10 straight years.
And he didn't get voted in?
Nope. No, he sure didn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the whole thing is in his seventh year of the ballot, he didn't get it. He didn't get in either. Carlos Beltran, he got 57% of the votes, and then it drops off to Alex Rodriguez getting 34.8, Manny Ramirez 32.5. Here's the one I don't understand, okay? And you talk about everybody can talk about analytics and everything.
I didn't hear.
I'm a firm believer.
Okay, I didn't hear.
Omar Vizquel. Go. I might be chopping again. Omar Vizquel is one of the best defensive players ever in the history of baseball. And he's got 2,700 hits. And he can't get in. He's got 11 Gold Gloves. 11 Gold Gloves, and he played for 24 years. And he can't get in.
That's crazy.
I just don't get it. Again, I take it back. He's got 2,800 hits. He played until he's 45. He made the major leagues at 22, and he played until he's 45. Now, it's hard enough to keep your job as a major leaguer and then be able to play. But he played for 24 years, and he won 11 Gold Gloves, and he can't be in the Hall of Fame. And he hit 272. It wasn't like he was some kind of scrub-a-dub hitter. He hit 272. Yeah, he ain't in. He can't get in. And he finished with 17.7% of the vote. Why? What is the rubric to getting in the Hall of Fame? You got to go kiss somebody's ass. And you can't have anything you ever did. Lawrence Taylor couldn't make the Baseball Hall of Fame if Lawrence Taylor was as dominant of a player in football in baseball as he was in football, because he did cocaine, and so he's bad, and we can't have that in our Hall of Fame because
wait a minute.
you see your plaque, we can't
Doc
have
Goodman.
that.
Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry?
They're not in.
But you think, I mean, Doc Gooden's one of the most dominant pitchers to ever play the game.
How about a guy like Oral Hershiser? Was one of the most dominant pitchers of his time, and he's not in.
And
McVey was like, wait, Oral Hershiser's in? I go, no, he's not in.
That's insane. Bloody sock guy.
Kurt Schilling.
How is he not in a Hall of Famer?
Well, because he pissed somebody off. Because he says things that people don't like.
Yeah, but that's the other thing that makes me angry about it. It has nothing to do with what I say, do. It has to do with my baseball stats on my baseball card. That's what it has to do with.
Yeah.
Is O.J. Simpson a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
I think so. He murdered someone.
Allegedly. The glove did not fit, so you must have quit.
If the glove doesn't fit, you must quit.
That's right.
But
he lost a civil suit.
So yeah, he did lose the civil suit.
He tried to steal some stuff, so he went to jail.
So yeah, and I mean, there's all kinds of Hall of Famers, but not the greatest past. I mean, Darryl Strawberry, he one of the sweetest left-handed swings you ever see. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at his numbers, but I bet they got to be close to Hall of Fame numbers.
Well, but he did cocaine, Jason. He did some drugs, and we can't have that.
Could you
in
imagine?
our Hall of Fame.
How many hockey players did this, or how many football players did roids, and come on.
So to answer your question,
so is there a moral code to make him a Hall of Fame?
I wasn't aware. That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the rubric?
Ty Cobb was considered one of the biggest a-holes around.
He was the biggest racist too. And all these guys. I mean, there's again, what's the level of? You said it. What's your moral code? What's the what cheating is okay but not okay?
And and how do you make these? And reporters are making these decisions.
Baseball writers.
I've seen some baseball writers or reporters that don't always ask the greatest questions. You don't always put a player in the right light or treat them the right way. And Kurt Schilling, he may be a number one, but he has the numbers. Dude, you don't pitch like he did in the playoffs. You don't pitch like these guys should be in the Hall of Fame.
And that's what I think. The more that we have guys, and they can say like the average Joe Hall of Fame, the more that these guys keep getting in that are good but not maybe the greatest. Like I don't think that Joe Mauer is the greatest catcher / first baseman to ever play, and I don't think Todd Helton is. I think they're deserving of being Hall of Fame players.
Didn't Goose Gossage get in eventually? Finally,
I believe Goose Gossage is.
And you got now. I know it's easy once you're off the ballot. They have that other thing where there's players involved that you can still make the Hall of Fame.
It's the Veterans Committee, I believe.
Yeah, the Veterans Committee. So maybe some of these guys will get on there. Then I don't know. It's just it's a weird thing that you have. I mean, Barry Bonds, if you just took his Pittsburgh numbers before roids, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer before roids.
A lot of people have said that. Maybe not necessarily just the Pittsburgh numbers, because I think you have to go into the years that he was with the Giants, because I think he was 28 when he signed with San Francisco, so that was 93. So if you just take let's just say up to 96, you used to be able to do something like this. I don't know if you can still do that. Yeah, let's see if we can do that here. All right. So, by the way, Sports Reference, I'll throw them a little shout out here. From 86 to 96, 10-year stretch, from the very first time he came in, 1,595 hits, 334 home runs, 993 RBIs, and he hit 288, and stole 380 bases. I mean, those are really, really good numbers over a 10-year stretch. playing most of them in Pittsburgh. That's sad to say, but was one of the the guys who got on base all the time, and that was only playing in San Francisco 4 years. So then it's including his rookie season, and he won 3 MVPs during that time. That's from 86 to 96. That's not even counting the rest of his career when he actually hit way better. And you can
Like
make the
when
argument about
people
everything else.
people, especially around my age, and when they talk baseball and the greatest player I've ever seen, and I always get people mad at me because I always say Barry Bonds. The dude could run, the dude could hit, the dude could play defense, he could play offense, he could run the bases, he could steal bases, he could do everything. Now, I mean, there's a lot of guys that were similar to him, but dude, he was. I mean, he hit the tar out of the baseball.
Oh
And
yeah, he did. Yeah.
and you can't say that wasn't all roids. And you still those guys are throwing 100 miles an hour at you. Yeah, it's going to help you hit it further, but you still have to be able to read the pitches. You still got to see it. There's so much that goes into baseball, in my opinion. That okay, yeah. And it wasn't illegal. That's the other thing. It was not illegal, and that is it. And it saved baseball.
That's what I think. That's what probably makes me more upset than anything else. Number one, that Bud Selig's in the Hall of Fame, because I think Bud Selig's he was a trash commissioner. Come on, and two, it's like, wait a minute, you guys were okay with this when you're making money. Now all of a sudden, when it's all said and done, it's like, yeah, but no, it's like, yeah, no, we're not gonna recognize that. Hey, thank you very much. Here's your pension, and we'll see you later. What?
Yeah.
I mean, it was very unceremonious how all of these guys were ushered out of the game. To be honest, I mean, you got to think Barry Bonds had every belief that he was going to be playing the next year after his contract was up with the Giants. He didn't get another contract. Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, I mean, Sammy Sosa, all these guys just like, hey, thanks, no thanks, you got to go. And then what? It's like they don't even exist. I mean,
crazy to me.
I don't understand. Again, how can you tell the story of baseball? What do you got to do? You got to leave everything from 1990 to 2000, whenever they started doing the steroid testing. Did anything exist in that period of time? I remember watching baseball growing up and seeing dudes mash the freaking ball, and it was the coolest thing ever. I mean, when McGwire came to St. Louis.
No.
I can't remember what game, who they were playing. It might have been the White Sox. I got to watch Frank Thomas and Mark McGwire both hit batting practice that day. And it was, for some reason, I know that I got to watch the Cardinals, and McGwire was just putting on a freaking show. Like, I mean, the things were landing everywhere, and Frank Thomas is hitting, and you're just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Oh, I know. The batting pregame sometimes was insane when McGwire was there.
It was Cardinals when he first got there. But I mean, it was still fun to watch. Where's the ball gonna land?
Boy, when he first started for us, I mean, like you said, boy, it was rough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was questioning himself whether he could freaking still do it, and I mean, but it worked out, man. I mean,
it was a lot of fun, and I think it really at a time where, I loved baseball as a kid. It was actually my first love sport. And I, whether it was baseball cards or just the game, I mean, I loved baseball. And
most young boys are, well, you're quite a few years younger than me, but
only
my
10.
age, your age. I mean, I had 2 older brothers, so I was like, my brother played for a Legion here in Festus, which is, it's a prestigious program, and they went around, and I traveled all over the place watching my brothers play baseball. And that's what I always thought I was going to be. We had a baseball. I lived out in Hematite. There ain't much to do out there. So
Not a lot.
we basically built a baseball field in our backyard. And we would play baseball all year round, all the time. And that was my first true love. Then I, football, and now, I mean, I'm fully into basketball pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, but it was so much fun to watch. And I think the home run chase of 98, I like that documentary that they
it's
had.
Awesome.
Because it's just
awesome.
like, you just remember, you just like, I'm right back there. I'm right back there. I'm an 8th grader, gonna be a 9th grader, man. This is like the coolest thing ever. And oh my gosh, you got tickets. You're gonna go watch. I mean, my buddy was there when McGuire hit 62. I mean, I was like, cool. And of course, because there,
I mean, a lot of people don't remember how bad he started out. I mean, he was .088 in his first 10 games after the Cardinals acquired him. He had like 3 hits and 1 RBI in his first 34 at bats. He produced 2 singles in 7 games before hitting a home run in his 8th. He was hitless in the next 2. And the Cardinals lost 8 out of those 10 games. I mean, he started it out in one of his biggest slumps ever.
Yeah. But you know what?
Then he did. Then he did roids, and he got out of his slump, and then here we are.
I don't think it was necessarily him doing roids then. I think him and his Bash brother counterpart were definitely mashing more than just home runs back in the late 80s, because those are some big dudes, man.
Out there in Oakland?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Jose Canseco, man. What an idiot.
But I'll tell you right now,
he could hit the cover off baseball.
And again, he had 400 some odd home runs. Where is he at?
Well, he screwed up writing that book and selling out all that. That didn't. I mean, writers like this dude ain't ever getting in.
What's he saying that again? I mean, okay, well, do you think that's the reason why the writers aren't putting him in, or these other guys, is because Jose Canseco, who's apparently a literary genius, trying to make some money? I mean, the thing that he did was he broke the rule of baseball players about what stays in the locker room, kind of thing. And you can argue that this way or the other. But if, again, is it a moral thing? Is there a moral code? Was he doing something that was banned? No. Okay. Then what? It was okay then. It was okay because you're making us money. But now that you're done, nope. We didn't do with you. And that's,
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you bring baseball back, but then at the end, your careers are over, and you're having to go in front of the United States Supreme Court and stuff, or whatever they went in front of.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
I hate it because, as a fan of game, I think these guys should be in. I think they should be recognized for what they did do. And they're not. So, all right. Well, we're going to go to commercial break. And when we come back, we'll have our third and final segment of the Coach's Box. You're watching it, and we'll see you in a sec.
I'm a parking gate and I'm all out of whack.
Please insert your parking ticket.
It's gonna take a lot more than a little ticket to get out of here. And if you have cut rate car insurance, this could leave you all bent out of shape. No! So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Yeah, like me.
Someone!
That's broken too, pal.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
Imagine an HVAC as unnoticeable as the air itself. Sounds pretty good, huh? The new Daikin Fit. Air intelligence.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
Guys, if you've been in to check out the changes at Case and Buck's Grub and Pub, stop by, check us out. We've got awesome wings. We got great pizza. We got a steak sandwich, a steak salad. Holy cow. We got games. We've got lotto. We've got cold beer. We've got a little bit of everything. Stop by, check us out. Check out the weekly specials. Barbecue, pork steaks. Yum. Harold's Market. Thank you, my friends. Check us out. We are waiting for you.
All right, everybody, welcome back to our third and final segment of the Coach's Box. If you would like to watch some of our older shows, because we've done 174 other of them, 174 other shows than this one. I don't know. I messed that up. Anyway, but if you want to go back and watch, you can watch this on our Facebook page if you're watching there, or you can watch this on our YouTube channel. You can hit the subscribe button. You can like and comment. You can go back and see. Have our sports broadcast that we've done of high school basketball games or football games mostly. And you can also see some of our other great podcasts that we kind of advertise a little bit there in the commercial break. And Jason, why don't you tell everybody how much it costs to go back and watch any of our stuff?
I'm pretty sure we don't have a paywall.
Nope.
We don't have an app.
Nope.
We don't have any charges.
No.
But just Coach's Box free fun.
It's pretty much, it's all free. It's free
fun.
Free.
With the coaches from Coach's Box.
That's right.
Former coaches that are Coach's Box. But, you know, that's a little dig at some people that aren't ever on the show. Jim, I'm too big for the Coach's Box. McVey, I know he's had some life changes that have made his life a little different. So, you know, him, and then Kevin, he's probably the one screwing up your internet. So he's not here. I mean, we just got a lot of guys that just, you know, it's hard to keep them here. It's hard to get them here. You would think the middle of basketball season in January, tournament week for me and for you in our tournament, but we're here. We're doing what
we're here. Do. That's right.
So,
yeah,
we never decided exactly what this third segment is, but I got to talk about it. Jim Hardball, he is leaving after winning a title for Michigan. As much as this is probably why Jim's not on here. The other Jim, not Jim Hardball. Now, if we had connections like that, that would be a cool show.
You know what? Let me see if I can make a couple phone calls.
Maybe Jim can. You know, big time can get Jim Hardball on here, but too much as Jim Powers doesn't like us to talk about that Michigan title, that big title they won this year, and you know, the Missouri victory over Ohio State. But anyway, Jim Hardball breaking today. He is stepping down from the Michigan Wolverines, and he is going to take the head coaching job at I was going to say San Diego, but it's not San Diego Chargers anymore, the Los Angeles Chargers. And it's still going to be hard for me to ever take them seriously when they're sharing a stadium with another team, it's hard for me to take them or the LA Rams when they have less fans than we have at Battlehawk games. And it just aggravates me. But anyway, former Stanford, Michigan, University of San Diego head coach. And, he was the former San Francisco coach too at one point. Back to the NFL.
So he was Stanford and Michigan. That's the two places in college football that he was the head coach.
He was at his coaching career began at the University of San Diego.
Well, he might have helped, but he wasn't a head coach.
Well, I'm just saying that's where he started, was the University of San Diego. So I don't know if he was the head coach or not. I'm just reading this from the internet.
Sure.
But he did play quarterback for the Chargers for 2 seasons from 1999 to 2000. So he has some ties there. It's interesting. The owner from the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, is football personified. He's personified. He says, I could think of no one better to lead the Chargers forward. The son of a coach, brother of a coach, and father of a coach who himself has, was coached by all kinds of famous coaches like Ditka and others. So I don't know. Can he turn the Chargers around? One thing he does have for him, he's got a decent quarterback.
Yes.
And the running back, I don't know if he'll come back or not. Is it Eckler, right? I think is their running back. Yes. And he's pretty good. But I know their quarterback, they're good.
Yeah. I mean, he's he's very serviceable. Let's just say.
And I mean, Harbaugh is a former quarterback. I'm interested to see how he's going to do in the NFL. I mean, he wants to get to, which Harbaugh brother, he wants. It'd been nice if he would have done this a year earlier, but it'll be cool. See what he does. I'm interested to see how he performs at the NFL level. Because not everyone's done well. Ask Nick Saban.
Well, it's true. But here's the thing. I mean, Jim Harbaugh has won wherever he's went, and a lot of people can't say that when they make that jump and go from college to the pros.
Yep.
And usually when they go back, it's because they got ran out of town. I mean, Jim Harbaugh as an NFL coach was in 4 years was 44-19 in 64 games as a coach. That's a 695 winning percentage. He only had 1 year that he was 500 or below, and he was 8-8, so he was 500. His teams
That's pretty salty, man.
Were pretty good. He also got the most out of the town. He was able to coach grown men. A guy coming from Stanford and being a rah-rah guy, whatever, and then he comes there and it's like, okay, hey, we're doing it like this, and took him to the Super Bowl. I mean, I would say that's a pretty good stretch as a head coach, and then he leaves to go back to his alma mater, and I mean, he wasn't like he was a slouch with Michigan. He was in 9 years with Michigan, he was 89-25 for a 781 winning percentage. Now you can say, well, he didn't have a lot of success in the bowl games. He's also playing in some pretty good bowls. It wasn't like he was playing in the Who Gives a Damn Bowl.
Like Mizzou,
when he first, well, like they did until they, got, beat. Who they beat this year?
The Ohio State.
Beat the Ohio State. So yeah, but he was 3-6 in the bowls, and that includes the win in the Rose Bowl. But coming off of a national championship and all the allegations and everything, I think Jim Harbaugh had to make the jump. I mean, truth be told, I think he just had to.
Oh yeah, I don't think there was. Yeah, I think that college would have been a little different for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd you'd have to get suspended or something. It's all stupid. Listen, they all cheat. They all do. That's like the argument about Belichick. They all freaking cheat. So
they
what?
All freaking cheat.
They do, man. They take any advantage that they can, and they just go with it and try to, because again, the old joke I've heard for years: if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But it's not when you're a coach, you're trying to find everything you can do. And don't tell me for one second they're not all. They're all recording. They're all videotaping stuff. They're all pushing the boundaries because they have to, Jason. Because it's not us because as high school coaches, these guys they're coaching for their lives and they're coaching on a national stage and they're coaching, and there's millions of dollars that are tied into the wins and the losses.
You do not
it's not just them.
That there wasn't $1 million tied to that Windsor Herculean basketball game tonight.
No.
Man, dang. Okay.
Well. Sorry. I mean, no offense, Jason, but no. No,
I can always dream.
No, but I will say this. I think out of all the jobs that were available, I think the Chargers made the most sense for Harbaugh. He's obviously, I mean, he'd been at Stanford. He'd been at San Francisco. I know Michigan's definitely the outlier of all of his coaching destinations. 3 of them now being in California. The Chargers made a lot of sense, and they do have the pieces to be successful right away. And I look for them to be successful right away. I don't see them going 5-12 again. No chance.
Don't.
No, I don't. I think if there's a guy that can help Herbert take the next step, I think it's a ball, because whoever it is, whether it's the Eckler kid or whatever, the running back, they're going to have a good running game, because he is we're going to use the run to set up the pass. He is not going to change how he's done it. That's exactly his formula for success. And his quarterbacks who are able to, it's not necessarily being a game manager, but it's about not turning over the ball and making plays and utilizing play action. And I think Herbert can definitely do that.
I agree. Well, while we're on
go ahead
coaching, and I brought up this one, now I'm going to jump to the NBA. And I know you don't, know a whole lot about the NBA, but I
know about the NBA. I don't like the NBA.
Okay, but I want to preface this with the story. The Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Adrian Griffin, first-year coach, gets fired despite a 30-13 start. They've started the season 30 wins, 13 losses, and the dude got fired.
Yep.
Holy crap. I mean, what are I'm like, are you serious? Did Damian Lillard walk in and after he got there and he's like, nah, we can't have this guy. So now they already fired him yesterday, and they are already hiring Doc Rivers to replace him. 24 years of NBA coaching experience, of course, but holy crap. Just amazing to me.
So what's really funny is I don't know about you, but I have never, ever in my life, let's see, I'm 40 years old, and at whatever point I started watching basketball, which is probably around 92, 93, about when I really got into, everybody knew who Michael Jordan was, but when I really took a love for the game, nobody ever said, dude, Milwaukee is the place to be. It is the place. It is there. That's the franchise right there. That's the creme de la creme. Hey, everybody wants to go. I'm taking my talents north to the coldest ass place of Milwaukee. LeBron didn't say that. Nobody's taking their talents there. Nobody's just going in free agency saying that Milwaukee is the place to be. Let's go to Wisconsin. I don't see anybody saying that. If you're going to go, if somebody says, "Hey, I'm going to go watch a game in Wisconsin," they're saying, "I'm going to go watch the Packers play. I'm going to watch the Pack." Sometimes people forget that Milwaukee is actually in Wisconsin, and they have a team and jerseys and everything else. They won the NBA championship. Coach of a guy who's he was Popovich in San Antonio, and Mike Budenholzer, or however you say his name, Budenholzer or whatever. They fired him.
Yeah,
the guy who won the only NBA championship in Milwaukee, and they fired him, Jason, after winning 58 games. 58. What the hell do they want from these guys?
I mean, I know that them adding Damian Lillard, it's like a championship or bust type of deal with him and Giannis, but I've read a couple articles and, they said, well, he wasn't relating to the players, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Doc Rivers, what has he ever even? I don't think he's ever won a championship.
Yeah, he did.
Did he win one?
Yeah.
Guiding the Celtics to the 2008 championship. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot about the big. But still, I don't know, man. My gosh, 49-year-old Griffin's got to be going. Okay, well.
Okay, but still, I mean, let's look at the Bucks track record here. Okay, and you have, let's see, and I want to follow it with Giannis, because Giannis was a rookie in 2013, 2014. Okay, so the Bucks went 15 and 67 that first year. They sucked.
Ooh,
and Larry Drew was their coach, and he was a one and done kind of guy. Obviously, they hired Jason Kidd. Okay, so they went 41 and 41, first round bump. You're gone. Now Giannis wasn't Giannis until like his fourth year. So then they were 33 and 49 to make the playoffs. Then they were 42 and 40, got to the first round. Giannis. Then 44 and 30, and then Kidd gets fired in the middle of the year. And then they hired Budenholzer, and they won 60 games that year. Okay? They won 60 games in 2018, 2019. Lost in the Eastern Conference Finals. And the next year, they're 56 and 17, lost in the Eastern Conference semis. Then they went 46 and 26. Now, it was so they win an NBA championship, winning 46 games. Then they won 51 and lost in the conference semis, and they won 58, and they got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. And they fire their coach. That's a pretty damn good stretch for a coaching record. Okay, you won 60, 56, 46 was your worst. Your worst year of winning.
But you won the championship that year, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then they won it. And then 51, and then 58. What? What do you want from that guy? Because he got bounced in the first playoffs? I mean, that's going to happen. Well, somebody gets hot and they beat you.
And that's one of the knocks that, Milwaukee's coach before this was that they got bounced the first round. I don't know. This is crazy. That some other crazy NBA, and I know we don't talk about much NBA. That's why I'm bringing it up tonight. Draymond Green, because of his suspension problems, was left out of the Team USA's player pool for the Paris Olympics this summer. USA Basketball Executive Director Grant Hill explained this to ESPN. And I think it's kind of funny because not only is Stephen Curry and Chris Paul, two of his teammates, I'm still kind of I haven't gotten used to the Chris Paul era on the Golden State Warriors, but two of his teammates and his head coach and Steve Kerr is going to be at the Olympics. Steve Kerr's coaching it. What does that say about Draymond? I mean, is his Golden State days numbered? Don't they have to be, I think?
Well, no, he just signed that contract.
Gosh, I mean, they got, yeah.
Unless they try to find some kind of like, I don't know, morale clause or something like, well, we got to get rid of this guy. Again, it goes
other
back.
Teams would take him, but
well, I think they
my
would.
gosh, what an idiot.
Oh, it's dumb.
The stuff that and that's why I'm jumping all over the place, but we can do that because Zach's not here. Jim Harbaugh, and going back to the NFL, I mean, college football is just like the NFL now anyway. I mean, with the portal and having to recruit your own players, then having to recruit other players. I mean, so it shouldn't. I could see more college coaches eventually evolving to the NFL now with the climate that college football has.
Well, to go back and I have a little comment on the Draymond thing what Grant Hill. No, you're fine with Grant Hill. It's just so funny. It almost seems like
talk about two opposites: Grant Hill and Draymond Green.
And I'm just thinking about this, like the Grant Hill that I remember is just, this clean cut kind of dude. And, he's a Duke guy. And then you got Draymond, he went to Michigan State and, is just like he's got his own TikTok mixtape of fights where you could play NWA in the background. It looks like Grant Hill would listen to, orchestra music or some kind of classical crap and, drinking tea with his pinky sticking out. Draymond's, hammering 40s, wanting to fight a dude. And it's like, well,
and Draymond's won 2 gold medals. I mean,
yeah. And if he just he take the other crap away, like got hit too many times something because he's nuts, but he's the kind of guy that you kind of need on your team because I need a rebound. Oh, Draymond got it. Cool. He's going to get into a fight, but hey, we got to have that rebound. He got it. Cool. All right.
Well, and he grinds it out on the defensive end. I mean, I'm not a Draymond fan. I will say that I have watched quite a few of his TikToks of his podcast, and I do enjoy some of his podcast stuff. But gosh, I couldn't imagine him having to coach something like him.
It would be very difficult. It really would. But he's when you signed him, you knew what kind of guy you had in him, and the fact that they re-upped him and gave him that deal. I mean, it's gonna be hard. I believe. He signed a 4-year deal. He made $22 million at his deal. He's going to make $27 million. So, and he's got a player option for this year. So if he gets tired of it, he's the one who gets to make the decision, not the team. And hey, you're the one who put the ink on the paper, man. It ain't like it was somebody else. You're the one who did it. But I mean, look what you got out of him. All things considered, I mean, a 4-time NBA champion, played in the finals 5 times.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but it definitely isn't now. I mean,
look at Rodman. I mean, So I mean,
but I don't think you can compare Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green because I don't think Draymond compares not nearly as much. Dennis Rodman was on another level.
He was
of a basketball player. Like he did some home camera, but it wasn't like the stuff he did deterred what he did on the might have got into a scuffle with guys. He didn't lose his mind on the court. He knew exactly what he was doing. And it was like, I'm gonna use this persona that I've created and intimidate you and then get in your head. Oh, yeah, he made all kinds of money doing it. But he also won. And he helped his team win. And when he was right, I mean, he wasn't in a good situation in San Antonio, obviously. But
no.
But the two Hall of Fame coaches that he had, Chuck Daly and Phil Jackson, knew how to coach the guy. And he had enough respect for the guys that he played with Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, and then Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, obviously, to understand that, hey, this is what I got to do. And they understood what he was able to bring to the table, too. I just don't think, I think if he'd have played for Greg Popovich in San Antonio, this would have been a different story. I don't think Popovich would have traded. You want to talk about one of the world's worst trades? Was trading Will for Dennis Rodman. That's how bad San Antonio wanted to get rid of him.
What a great trade for the Bulls.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, how about this? I mean, obviously Rodman's going into this, this crazy stage because Chuck Daly is not the coach of the Pistons. So what do the Pistons do? They trade for Sean Elliott. That was a one-and-one deal too. Sean Elliott was a damn good player in the NBA in the 90s, and they traded him 1-for-1. And then the Bulls like, you know what? Hold my beer. I'll even do you one better. And they traded Will freaking Purdue 1-for-1 for Dennis Rodman. I never will forget that. I'm like, the Bulls got Rodman for him. Holy.
Oh, Will Purdue. And I mean, the part when the part in Jordan's thing when he says, Phil, we'll never get him back. He's never going to come back. You're going to let him go to Vegas? And like the guy that's commenting here, I don't want to say his name wrong. Do you know Bodkin or Bodkin?
Bodkins. Hey.
So the Bodkin show there, and he said Will Purdue won a ship in San Antonio too. But, the whole spiel about him going to Vegas, and Phil knew. He goes, hey, Robin says he needs a vacation. We're just going to have to give it to him.
He's got to go.
He's got to go to Vegas.
Hey, bud.
Finally, after about a 5-day bender with Carmen Electra, he finally gets back to doing what he does.
Now wait a minute, Jason. You have I want you to think about this.
I already know the answer.
Put yourself in this situation. You're going to go and play. Let's say I can't remember how long he was gone to Vegas off the top of my head.
Oh, I thought it was like 5 days or something.
Okay, so you get 5 days.
Whatever,
so
however long
5 days
was.
to Vegas. You can hang out with the guys you're playing basketball with. So you're not going to make that choice now because you're happily married. But if you're Dennis Rodman and you're getting a hall pass to go to Vegas.
And you're hanging out with Carmen Electra. I mean,
Carmen Electra or
hey, sorry. Hey, Michael, I promise I'll be back.
Listen. Michael, it's an 82 game season. 82. I got just
give me a couple games here.
Just a couple games. I just need to go. I just need to take a vacation. He got to go, man. You're gonna take that 100 times. It's not even a chance. You could be the most competitive dude in the world, and if you're interested in women at all, interested in women at all, you're going to make that choice. We all, you're damn right, because we're all choosing Carmen Electra. That's it. Done. I'm just MTU.
I'm happily married. I can't really comment too much,
Single. If you're Dennis Rodman, matter. No way. You're not punting that one. There's no way. Yeah, talk about the Spurs. They finally cashed in on that on that trade. Yeah, with
Will
Wilford winning the 99 championship with and Steve Kerr being a part of that one too, man. Getting the Admiral his first championship. So, hey, it all worked. I guess it all worked out in the end.
And there was some good players back then, man.
Oh yeah. It's funny, I've had this obviously I've talked about it before, but this re-interest in sports cards. So go back through and start looking at guys like that I thought were good or their cards are worth something back then. God, no, it's like you get heard of these guys at all. Sean Elliott was one of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like Sean Elliott was legit. Back in the trade, you could trade and get it. It's like, oh my gosh, hey, Sean Elliott or Grant Hill. Grant Hill and Penny Hardaway were like the two cards that you had to have during that time because those
Penny
guys
Hardaway,
were the guys.
when it came out with the little penny.
Yeah, little penny. Oh yeah, those are some great commercials too, man. But
kids nowadays don't even understand the
little penny.
Oh man, that was so awesome. I mean, awesome. I mean, just wow. I mean, we were lucky. We had some. I mean, we had some fun basketball players to watch growing up, and some characters. I mean, you go to NFL. We've already talked about a few of them. Lawrence Taylor and others. I mean, Barry Sanders. You got to watch him run. I mean, Walter Payton. I was really young when he was a stud. I mean, it's crazy to think of all the guys that I've gotten to see in my lifetime. It's awesome.
Yeah. Very, I'll tell you the thing, and I didn't believe it until I started witnessing it. When the guys that I grew up watching and idolizing as basketball players or as athletes, when I seen them when they first came in and I'm watching them leave the game, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Like that. That's when I start realizing I'm getting old.
Everybody, they all call, Adam Wainwright Uncle Charlie. I'm like, Uncle Charlie's younger than me. I can't call him Uncle Charlie. And I've watched his whole career, and it's like, dude, I'm getting old.
So I explained this to Zach again. I keep referencing sports cards, but so the guys that, so when I started getting into sports and basketball cards, and
you ought to see all the baseball cards I have here.
I'd like to see them sometime. I like cards.
I got a ton.
So everybody was talking about, the cards that were big was, like a Pete Maravich or Bill Russell. Oh my gosh, you have something like that. And those cards are 30 years old because they're from the 60s. Jason, the 90s were 30 years ago.
Oh, I know. Mark McGuire's USA. I remember Mark McGuire's USA card. I never got a hold of one, and everybody was getting them. It was worth so much money. I don't know what it's worth now, but man, yeah, that was 30 years ago.
And that's the crazy that. And I think those two things, it's like watching someone's career all the way through, like Tom Brady being such a long career. I saw him when he came in and I saw him leave. And it's like, that was in my lifetime. And then somebody like Kobe Bryant, and you saw him when he came in.
And then he dies on top of that.
It's like, oh, wow, this is, but you just remember those things.
A lot of us got to see Jordan's whole career. I'm not only seen Jordan's whole career, I'm going to see LeBron's whole career. I saw Kobe's whole career. You go through all them people, and now I'm like at the age where it's like, I've seen a couple decades of careers. That is insane to think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just insane.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's kind of like you're like, wait, what? Like this, how is this possible? Right?
When they say how old LeBron is sometimes on TV, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, he's a year younger than me.
I watched him when he was playing high school ball, and
Yeah. I mean, I remember the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I was like, man, this guy's going to be kind of good. And I mean, as much as I don't like the prick, he's pretty good. He's only not been an all-star one time in his life. And that was his first year, and he's played for 21 years. Like it obviously you could always go into the light of this NBA compared to the NBA that we grew up watching, Jason, because I would have to say that the 80s and 90s NBA
oh my gosh,
was insanely rough. And there's a lot of guys whose careers they were a little short because of the beatings that they took. But I would love to have seen a guy who is physically talented and gifted as LeBron playing in the 80s and the 90s. You look at Magic being 6'9", handling the ball, but Magic Johnson was not as built as LeBron James. Okay, Magic Johnson was a big dude, but he was not the monster that LeBron is now, with how strong he is and everything else.
Well, like I look back at when I graduated high school in 1994 and some of the high school like All-American awards. That Kevin Garnett, 94, Felipe Lopez, Stephon Marbury, Ron Mercer, Antoine Walker. I mean, all these guys I watched play. Tim Thomas, Lorenzo Wright. I mean, I'm going, oh my God, these guys are all Jahadi White. I mean, I got to watch him when we won our state championship in 1990. It wasn't Jahadi White. Oh, maybe he was 94, yeah. And I got to watch him play for Cardinal Ritter in 1994. I went to the state championship for some reason and saw him play Jahadi White.
Well, Jahadi White never did win it. He graduated and then got beat by Porridgeville.
That's right. And I went to college with the guy that guarded him in that game. he played football at Central Methodist with me. I can see the guy's face. I can't think of his name. But he's like, I guarded Jahadi White. I'm like, whatever. He goes, no, we beat them. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys did. And he goes, I guarded Jahadi White in the championship game. I mean, Chauncey Billups, who's a coach now, did you see him get thrown out the other night?
No, I didn't. That's funny. I mean, hey, I got a fun one for us to do on this show, since all of us have some kind of ties and have coached. Even Kevin have coached basketball. I think we should come up with just this list of guys who aren't necessarily like the top guys. Like, you can say LeBron, and you can even say a Kevin Garnett. You can say all these Hall of Fame guys. But how about the guys who aren't in the Hall of Fame that were really damn good that we got to watch in our lifetime, and just reminisce about those guys and almost like what careers could have been, or how good they were, the things that you saw them do. I mean,
or guys one guy that always sticks out to me, because I was a big Lakers fan and I'm a big Mizzou fan, it was Anthony Peeler. He may have been he was one of my most favorite players ever watching growing up, watching him grow up and play for Mizzou. And then he goes to the Lakers, who were my favorite NBA team, and he's getting to play with superstars. And it's like, holy crap, man. Peeler ended up having like a 12-year career in the NBA. I mean, there's a couple years he averaged in double digits. I mean, there are players like him that were fun. Larry Hughes from St. Louis. I'm always thinking St. Louis type guys, or Mizzou, or But
how about a guy who's actually in the Hall of Fame that I bet you if I say his name, you're going to say, really? How about Mitch Richmond?
Dude, what a player. Yeah.
And how about the fact that you played for the freaking Kings?
Yeah,
that's one of the reasons why you weren't.
that's a name right there, man. Yeah, Mitch Richmond.
So I'll use that as something for future shows, because I would love to do just kind of a throwback, even in all sports. It's baseball or basketball or football, with these guys that were really, really good, but they're not the guys that you think about. They're not an Iverson. They're not a Tim Duncan.
I'm looking through my card collection one day. I brought all my cards from my parents' house back to my house. I have them at my house now. And for some reason, I always loved Mookie Wilson. He played for the Mets. And I think he was the one that hit the ball that went under. I think he played in the series where the ball went under the Red Sox. Buckner. I don't know if he's the one that hit it, but I know he played. I think he played back then. But Mookie Wilson, I bet I have 35 of his cards. And I'm like, dude, why did I have an infatuation with Mookie Wilson? Why couldn't it have been like some other stud that now all their cards are worth, all kinds of money? Tyler Hansborough, Ron Rhodes.
Oh, let's throw that one. We gives, welcome to the show, Coach Rhodes. The championship game versus Vashon that I witnessed because the worst in the class was a part of that one I ever watched, because it was 16-7 at halftime. But Tyler Hansborough beat the number 1 team in the country, basically him and his brother, and I believe it was the Chronister kid, were the only 3 kids Popper Bluff really had that were really good. Everybody else was just like, hey, let's get these guys the ball. And the Hansborough boys put on a show, specifically Tyler. He definitely did. And what a great Missouri basketball talent he was.
Another guy who we beat to win we didn't beat him in the championship, we beat him in districts. Chris Carr played for Arcadia Valley.
Yeah.
Hell, he ended up having a decent NBA career. Yeah. I mean, man, we're long-winded tonight, boys.
Hey, think about it like this. If Chris Carr would have been the slam dunk champion, the NBA slam dunk champion, if Kobe Bryant wouldn't have been in the slam dunk competition that year. And it is the only year he even participated. The only year that he participates. And Chris Carr got beat by Kobe Bryant.
That kind of sucks.
Well, I mean, hey, if I'm Chris Carr, I can say, hey,
I went all the way with Kobe Bryant. Yep.
I was actually looking through cards. I found Chris Carr's card the other day. I was like, there we go. That's cool. Well, I think we can definitely put. We've definitely. I thought, I was like, well, it's just gonna be me and Jason. We'll cover some stuff, but you know what? Get into it.
We'll get off of here real quick tonight. That didn't happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen. That's okay though. We had fun and we got to talk about some sports, and I want to do this though, Jason. I want to talk about some of these guys that we all watch, and then hopefully our viewers get a chance to see some of the, can speak into those.
Yeah, an idea for a show that finally is like you and I'm with you on this, and without McVey. It's awesome. We come up with something to talk about without McVey. That's it.
We plan stuff out. It's just a busy time. And you know what? It's crazy. We've done more shows in person.
Nazi tonight.
We've done more shows in person, and you know what? It's hard for us to get together doing virtual shows. Isn't that crazy?
I know. I'm like, come on, guys.
That's all right. Hey, it happens. Anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in for another episode of the Coach's Box.
People.
Hey, next week we will have the Wings Bowl on Wednesday.
Well, after seeing you play today, man, I'm going to be buying some wings. I think maybe I don't know,
man. Make us shoot free throws right now.
You're gonna have Whitman back. You guys are gonna be a well-oiled machine by the time this tournament's over. And yep.
We'll see how things work out for the show next week. But we will be playing on Wednesday night, more than likely. If we do the show, it'll probably be Thursday. So hopefully you guys get
the day afterwards, really?
Well, hey,
and the day afterwards and the day before I play. I got two conference games that week. You guys,
we play St. Vincent on Friday.
I think we play Grandview, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting right into the
and then St. Vincent Crystal the next week. So yeah. Knock all them out real quick.
It's a fun time right now. Mm-hmm. So for me and Jason, appreciate you guys who've jumped in and joined us. Whether you have or not, we didn't advertise the show. It will be available for everybody to watch. So make sure you guys get a chance to tune in, watch, like, subscribe, share it. We don't mind you doing that. And we hope to see you guys next week for another episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast. You guys have a good night.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when you're off the rails.